Hey there everybody, and welcome back to Lori's Crafty Corner. Let me just adjust the camera just a bit. No, over here. Yeah. Okay, I think, yeah, there we go. Welcome back to Lori's Crafty Corner. I'm back with another layout share video, and these are all the layouts that I made during the month of April. You'll notice that it's probably half of what I've usually done before, in the sense that in February I think I made like 30 something layouts. Oops, sorry about the curtain. In March I made 30 something, close to 40 layouts, and I hit a sort of burnout sort of thing. I would get ideas, but I would just blankly stare at the patterned paper, ephemera and whatnot, because I don't know, something happened to me. I just burned out, and that's why I decided to take it slower on during the month of April. And I decided to just, like, instead of scrapping every single day, I decided to just pick certain days, and within those days just certain time periods, especially during my kids' nap time, to do scrap stuff, in order to not have that, because it was very, very weird. I would look at pictures, I would look at my paper stash and whatnot, and I wouldn't get any ideas. And I didn't like that. I would even look at sketches. I would view scrapbook process videos from other people, and I would just be like, the layout's pretty, but I don't know. It's something just like, I don't know. Anyways, you've probably experienced that before. But anyhow, if I remember correctly, I think I made about 20 layouts, or was it 15, 14? I don't know. Anyways, I'll tally them up at the end, and we'll see how far I went. So this is one of the first layouts that I made during April. It was a very mixed media heavy layout. Most of these, if not all of these, have process videos up on my YouTube channel, so head on over to it and look them up. The process videos have the names of the titles on my layout, so if you look, if you like this, A Magic Adventure, just look for this title within my videos and you'll find it there. Anyways, for this one I used distressed oxides. These black stars are also distressed oxides. I do apologize for any background noise. One of my neighbors is building a fence, and yeah, that hammering and the sound of cement being mixed and whatnot. I don't know if it's being picked up by the recorder, but anyways, if you hear something weird, it's that. I'm documenting a Disney picture of my husband and I back in 2015. These stars are left over from this cut file, and this star cut file is by Virginia Walker. I'll link that down below. I'll link you to her group and to her cut file on, cut file shop on Etsy. I added some silver glaze stars, and I just embellished with a bunch of random things from my stash. I loved this one. If you saw, I made a dinosaur layout not too long ago where I used dinosaur figures to create like a masking effect on the background. Well, I did the same here. Let me see, this is like a whiteout star, and I just used the insides to create that effect, and just sprayed some Heidi Swept Color Shine in mustard, and added some shimmers in Peacock's Plume and Colder Than Ice. And I used mainly two different Echo Park collections, Echo Park baby collections. This is another Disney layout. I loved this one. I just used this cut file that I have from, that's a Mickey, and then since I wanted to create this effect of the balloons, I just placed them on top, added some back stitching to add some texture, and then I embellished. I used mainly Paige's Whimsical collection, but I also have some items from Chamel's box of crayons. I loved how this turned out. I love it. This is another Stash Bash sort of layout because I remember that I was organizing my stuff, because if you scrapbook, you know that whenever we craft, it's like a bomb went out in our craft rooms. I'm sure some of you are very, very organized and that doesn't happen, but with me it does happen. And every like 3 or 4 layouts that I make, I have to tidy up my area because I keep adding and adding stuff, and then you see some of the recordings, you see that it's like, okay, Lori, it's time to clean up, because you see all around bowls of ephemera, scraps of paper, scraps of string or thread lying around. So yeah. So this is one of those layouts that, as I was tidying up my desk and tidying up some of the drawers and whatnot, I would find things and I'd be like, oh, this is great. I love these colors. And then I had this picture already printed out from a couple of years ago when my husband and I went to Disney in 2016. And I liked this patterned paper. I liked these flowers, and I was like, wait, I have this picture that goes great with these colors. And then the only thing that I purposely went into my stash to add to this layout is the enamel dots, which are from Simple Stories, and the sequins, which are from Spiegel Mom Scraps. The rest, these flowers were left over from another project. They were sitting in a bowl, so I just pulled them in. And I loved the effect of having the Distress Oxides on dark cardstock, because the Distress Oxides have that chalkiness to them, and that's the mixed media that you see. It's all just splatters of Distress Oxides in cracked pistachio, worn lipstick, and picked raspberry. Actually, it's not warm lipstick, it's candied apple. Love this one. It's one of those wow layouts for me. And I used Paige's New Horizon collection, and the cut file is by Virginia Walker. Again, I'll link you to her shop below. And what I did was that I just simply backed the flowers and the leaves on the cut file, but left everything else. You see that there are tiny hearts, or I think they're leaves, but they look like hearts to me. I left them blank because I wanted to show the cut file. It's like showcase the cut file, and also this gorgeous sort of brushstroke ombre hot pink to pink paper from Paige. This is using a cut file by Paige Evans. It's one of her free cut files, and this is one of those layouts that it took me over the course of 2 weeks to do it, and it's because I would purposely force myself to sit down nearly every day of those 2 weeks to do a bit of stitching. It took me a while because next time that I do something like this, I'll probably back it completely and then use like a paper piercer to make the holes again, because what I did with this one was that I backed it, but I only backed it, there you can pick it up, like barely touching the border. And then what was happening was that every time that I would be stitching around the letters, the I had to struggle with how I was going to hold it and hold the backed portion as well so it didn't tear or didn't fall off. So next time, either I will just leave the backing towards the end, or be sure to to adhere it on a larger scale behind it, and then pierce the holes again, to prevent that. Nevertheless, I loved how it turned out. I do. I love the color scheme. I love the little animals placed here and there. I also have a process video for this, so if you're interested, it'll be on my channel. I mean, it's already on my channel. This is another one of those layouts where I used Pages Horizon, and this is from a leftover cut file. I fussy cut these moths out of one of Pages' papers, and I just used shimmers, and since I love using color on my layouts, I decided instead of using like a white cardstock, this is very lush, and that's a basil textured cardstock. Again, this one I actually timed myself, and it took me 15 hours to do, and total. I didn't sit through 15 hours and did it. I did it over the course of a weekend. But when I add stitching to my layouts, I know that it adds a certain, I don't know, a certain little something, and it's gorgeous. I love adding stitching to my layouts, be it with a machine or be it hand stitching. I decided to go with, I chose 5 different colors from my thread stash. Excuse me. And then these butterflies, hold that up. They actually have like two places where you can add the string. And originally I wanted to add, like, if this was a hot pink, I would add a lighter pink here. But then I went with, I want to fill in these butterflies. So what I did is that I didn't want it to be too crowded or too busy. So what I did is I went with a color over the outer border, and the inner border I just used a white thread, and then added some shimmers in the coordinating color next to the butterfly. So if the butterfly is pink, I added some One Hot Mama shimmers over here. And then to fill in the white spaces so it wasn't all boom color here, I added some light Misty Morning shimmers on those white spaces, just to add a bit of extra shimmer to those areas. And then I punched out different sizes of stars in different colors from papers from my stash, and then added them onto the layout. I loved this one. It's hard to say that I don't love one of my layouts. I mean, I made it, I like it, so I think that's what matters. This is a very mixed media heavy layout. I used 5 or 6 different colors of blue oxides. So I went with chipped sapphire, I went with faded jeans, salty ocean, peacock feathers, and another blue that I don't recall the name at this moment, but it's another blue, and it's in a process video. Tumbled glass. It's this very light blue here, and I just used a blending tool and started to blend the colors onto the background, and then I splashed it with water and pulled up to create that effect of spaces, like whited out portions of color. I splashed it with some white acrylic paint. I added some shimmers in Anchors Away and in Let Us Be Together. That's the, I think. No, actually, it's Honeydew List. It's this very gorgeous green color. It's Honeydew List. And then I also added a bit of Iridescent Glaze by Vicki Boutin with one of her stencils to create that other ripple effect. These drops are from Spiegel Mom Scraps. Actually, most of the sequins that I use are from Spiegel Mom Scraps. Not all of them, most. I also added some of her sequins on top of the pictures or onto, you know, nearby the picture. The papers are from Doodlebug's Anchors Away, and I used some other stickers from Echo Park's Under the Sea collection. This is a mixed media layout and a fussy cut layout, where and I also made my own embellishments. All of these flowers, I stamped them, colored them, and fussy cut them out and used them onto this layout. The background, just regular shimmers, and I think I did use a bit of Heidi Swapp Color Shine. I loved how this turned out. It's gorgeous. This is more of a romantic layout that I made of my husband and I. Back then we were boyfriend and girlfriend, well, when we took the picture. And I just used this pattern paper, and this patterned paper is from Pink Fresh Studio. This is from my stash. This is also from my stash, and everything here is from my stash. So it's basically like a stash bash sort of layout. I do have a process video for this one, and it's on my channel. I loved making this pull related layout. I used some rope-like thread to create like two hanging ropes sort of thing, and there's where I placed my embellishments. I used green, blue, yellow, and red to create the background in order to have that ease of mixing in excuse me, to have that ease of oh my, sorry about that. To have that ease of mixing in different colors of ephemera and whatnot. Gorgeous. I love this one because I loved using colored cardstock with this one. And then since I already had color on this cardstock, I added some clear gesso, and then I used darker shimmers. This is Pining for You, and this is Anchors Away, and I used a light blue, which is colder than ice, and I loved how it turned out. And these are tags that came in an ephemera pack, and then since I hadn't used them, I was like, okay, I'm gonna use them, and then I added some different color thread to pull all the colors together. I also added some splashes of white acrylic paint. Love this. I love this one. It has a lot of different things. Everything that you see here is from I forget her name. Sorry. Not her name, the name of the brand of the collection. Color Kaleidoscope. It's Vicki Boutin's Color Kaleidoscope. It's her newest collection. And I used her sticker book, I used her chipboard, I used the enamel shapes. These butterflies were fussy cut from one of her papers. Stickers, ephemera, everything is from that collection. I tore these papers here. Also from her collection, I added the title Remember. The background is mixed media. This green is Honeydew List. The pink one is Heidi Swapp Color Shines and Hot Pink. And this blue is Jenny B. Blue. and it's from Shimmers, and I loved how it turned out. Also, I used a stencil, a heart stencil, with some modeling paste just to create different texture. And then finally, this. I can't get enough of this layout. It's colorful. It goes great with the colors from the umbrellas. I loved it. I believe this paper is Paige Evans, Amy Tangerine, and Amy Tangerine. And this is actually the, if you look at the picture, there's like a mat. Beneath it, this paper is actually from a baby collection, but the blue went well with this blue over here, or green. And then I embellished tone on tone. But I loved how it turned out. I used white acrylic paint. I used some Heidi Swapp Color Shine in black. And then some iridescent paint, not glaze, paint over here just to, because when I initially placed the title on it, it looked muddled. So what I did is that I used that iridescent acrylic paint to sort of create like a washed out effect, and then I added the title. Sequins are from my stash, and these hearts are actually washi tape that I placed over some cardstock and then I punched it out. But I loved how it turned out. This is the only layout that I made that I don't have a process video for. That's why I'm explaining it a bit more in detail. This is just 4x6, 4x12, or 4.5 by 12, or 5. It's either 4 by 12 or 5 by 12. I'm trying to eyeball it, but it's not my regular cut. And the pictures are like 3 by 2 by 3, sort of. I love the effect of having small pictures on layouts. Stay tuned, because I might be creating, I have this idea of creating themed pocket pages. I am not into making Project Life because I don't take pictures every day. I don't have time to document my everyday life, but I do make the effort to at least once a week sit down with my kids and have, you know, some family time, and we take pictures and whatnot. And I mean, every day I take pictures of them and whatnot when they do one of their shenanigans or their cute their cuteness. But I don't do it on an everyday scale, so I don't do Project Life in the sense of you document every single day. But I love mixing in pocket pages with regular 12 by 12 regular 12 by 12 pages. But it's been a while since I've done something like that. So my idea is to try and create themed pocket pages. For example, this day that I documented here, it was an outing with my brother and his wife and my parents, and we went to San Juan, which is about 2 hours from where I live, and we just spent the day, you know, just walking around, taking pictures, having coffee, eating popsicles, you know, just spending time together, and we took gorgeous pictures that day. So I'm not gonna scrapbook every single picture like I would like here or here, because then I'd have a full album just with that outing. I did make a mini album with that outing, but I also like making regular sized albums. So my idea is that I make this layout, and then behind it I'll have a pocket page where I document similar photos because these are just of my husband and I, but there's also the same area, same sort of picture with my mom and my dad and my brother with his wife. And then we have the picture as a family. So instead of like creating a page for each one of those, I'll just make like a pocket page. That idea came to me because I've noticed lately that since I'm making anywhere from 15 to 30 layouts every month, I'm basically pulling out an album every single month. And yeah, because I'm documenting so many pictures, and the best way to document a lot of pictures but without using up too much space in your albums is using pocket pages. So stay tuned for that. The title will probably be something like that, like themed pocket pages, and then I'll show you how I do my pocket pages. Anywho, let's tally up the layouts. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So it's 15 layouts done on April, during the month of April, and I document 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So it's 15 layouts with 24 photos documented. And I like to tally up that because I have a stash of scrapbook supplies, but I also have a stash of pictures that I need to document. So I like to keep that sort of tab. So anyways, thank you so much for viewing this this video. If you made it this far, please share my videos, like my Facebook page, look me up on Instagram. It really helps when people share my videos because other people get inspired, or you can get inspired to document your pictures in things that you've seen here. Leave a comment down below or like the video or whatnot. You can also leave suggestions down below for things like, oh, I have this supply, I don't know how to use it, and if I have something similar, maybe I can help you out and make a layout using it. So yeah, thank you so much for subscribing, for following me whenever I post a video. And yeah, I'll see you back soon with another process video. Bye.